This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hey Star Wars Legion folks, welcome back to Dice Commando here again with some Legion content. Had an opportunity this last weekend to play Star Wars Legion with people whom I didn't know already, which was really great. We had a 3-round tournament, 800-point standard at Gongaii Games, run by kind of a play group in Portland who was kind of using the space, and they let us in. We'll go into that. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do today, was just kind of run down the experience and share, some learnings that I had about, playing the game really in a competitive environment for the first time. Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in today for the tournament recap, thought sharing, whatever you want to call it. So it's been a while since we've done some Legion content, mostly just because I do it, Legion's really been something I'm enjoying kind of just as a personal, casual, do it when you feel hobby, right? So, like I said, I do it when I feel like it, but I thought this weekend I had a lot of fun this weekend. It was a really good experience. It was way too long for how I like to do gaming, but I mean, that's what it is, right? So, let's get into it. So, like I mentioned, the details were it was a 3-round tournament. It started at 11 o'clock, but of course with the train, everybody's got to get there, early to set up, right? So the day started basically at 10 o'clock a.m. We were at Gongai's new-ish location. Basically, they've rented out, because they're expanding, they've rented out a warehouse just down in the same complex as them. So it's like 2 doors down. So it's basically just like an open garage space, and they had all the tables in there. They've built 4 more tables, bringing their wargaming capacity to 8. And it wasn't very cramped. Like, I was pretty impressed with Gongai's play space. I'll put in a picture here that we took. Overall, very, very pleased with just Gongaii in general, but that's not news, right? And I'm obviously biased. So just a reminder, 10% off at checkout for code Commando10. I don't see any of that, but it helps them grow to do stuff like we just did. So anyway, like I said, it was a long day because it was a 3-round tournament. So there were 16 players. So it should have been, right, in the real world, it would have been, or not the real world, it was real world, but like under normal circumstances, of 16 people would be a 4-round tournament, right? But when you're running 2.5-hour games with lunch break, and so they did 3 rounds, which was nice. So I was playing, and I think that's the last video we did, was I actually ran through my army that I brought, which was my clones Rex Obi list with 1 set of R-Troopers, or 2 squads, strike team. Anyway, so check out that video. I'll put the link if you want the list. And I guess I can post the list itself, but there's no, that's not the point of this, right? I didn't win, first off. So actually maybe that's the way to start, is I went 1-3 on the day. I did get my first Legion tournament win, which I thought was pretty cool. So let's just go through the day. So round 1, I played a CIS player. So this was I played Dan. He was the TO, the guy who did all the work to get this set up. I want to thank him for being very patient. I could tell I was kind of annoying him a little bit at the beginning with kind of my disorganization on the setup. The day started kind of bad for me because I showed up without my Obi-Wan. So I had to call an audible and have Amy run me Obi-Wan. So I think for the first round, Obi-Wan was like a button. But so he was pretty cool with that. And then I missed some surge tokens on the deployment, and I had some deployment questions, and he was patient. I could tell he was, maybe he was fearful that it was going to be a really like bad game. But he was very patient with me, and then once things got rolling, we did a little. We moved pretty quick, actually. Like we got, I think we ran out of time. I think we only got through 5 rounds but because we ran out of time, this table, and I have, you've got stuff going on the side right now because I took a bunch of pictures and video. The table we were playing on was the lava table, and there was a lot of stuff. Like, it was a really beautiful table, really gorgeous table, you can tell from the video, but there was a lot of stuff on it. So, like, you couldn't really move straight. It was hard to get shots off, so it was kind of hard for my army. I mean, obviously, I'm a shooty army, and the shots I could take, he just ate it because he was CIS. So, and he obviously knows what he's doing. Very good player. So, we were playing. Interestingly enough, every single game on the day was hostile environment. I don't know if that's just what people wanted to do, but in this one, it wasn't that hard to keep your tokens on, all in all, right? Or your tokens off, I should say, all in all, because it was a lot of terrain. There were a couple spots where we got hit, but so that was hostile environment, and then we were playing sabotage, right? Sabotage and moisture vaporators, which is tough with droids, right? Because, I mean, he played it right. Like, he just, he had 2 squads basically just sitting on his, and I couldn't get across the table because he had droidecas rolled out in the middle, which was really freaking awesome. He played those really well, and I was like shooting at him, but only getting like with shields through. And anyway, so that was a good learning game for me. Just kind of a good warm-up game for me, I should say. Good warm-up game, just to kind of get the back and forth of kind of some of the nuance of competitive play, like how people, flip the tokens over and stuff like that, and kind of just the, I noticed a lot of other people are doing it too, and it's stuff that I hadn't done before, so I got to see, kind of the BKM best known method of how people do that. So that was good. The second game, also CIS, and I was like, oh, that's a bummer because that's what I play against all the time at home, right? So, but this was a tank list. So this was actually ended up being on the table that I brought. And it was a tank Dooku list, which was really, really awesome. And what he basically did was he put all his droids in front, and then he put all of his major pieces behind his tank, and just kind of marched his tank forward and used it as a shield, which was pretty freaking awesome. It's to get Dooku in position, and Dooku's a freaking, as you guys know, Dooku's a beast, but he's expensive, right? So this game went my way really, really early because we did the long march, right? So you're on each opposite side. I do not know why the camera's doing the side stupid color thing. I'm sorry, guys. But we were doing the long march, and I was playing because I do play the clone airstrike, right, which has to be range 4+, and it's beam, so you can get 3 shots in. And I think I was able to at the end, because with the long march, basically the first round's just moving people forward, and I was able to, I think, take out because I did a beam into 3 droids, and I think I was able to take out 6 droids, I think, total, and then put suppression on, and then, it basically it kind of went downhill for him there. I had eliminated most of his droid squads by the beginning of round 3, all in all. But that's kind of what they're there for, right? Especially when he's trying to move guys in. So he got the tank in. I basically just ignored the tank. The tank was definitely blowing stuff up, but I didn't really shoot at it because he kind of moved Dooku out. And then I was able to get Obi-Wan in and engage some B2s. That was that'll be one of my notes is Obi-Wan. I got to get my notes out here, right? So anyway, so that one worked out well for me, and we were playing key positions. So, we basically each owned the one, and we're fighting over the middle spot. He ended up conceding, I think, round 4, because it was pretty clear, what he was going to end up having was the tank left, right? So I was able to take Dooku out, and then he was only basically going to have the tank left and then, some scrub units, and, it was pretty clear that I was just going to be able to kind of just surrounded and basically live long enough to win. So he conceded, which was completely fair. So that was my first tourney win. Like I said, the things that went well for me in that game was there was there was a lot less stuff on the table, so I was able to get some more clear shots. But yeah, basically the lucky beam to begin the round was pretty massive, because it just took more dice off the table for him. It's that's how it went. And then the last game was a really, really awesome. So it was a good game and a bad game, right? It was a really good game. I felt really good. So I ended up losing. So let's just throw that out there right now. But I thought it was a really good game because I played well tactically. There was a lot of really cool, I made a lot of really cool choices on like setting up fire support and stuff. So why don't I tell you what the opponent was doing? So it was a mirror-ish. It was clones on clones. But he was playing Padme, Clone Commander, and a tank, a saber tank. And what he did was he basically put, we were also playing key positions. Again, I said hostile environment for everything. And guess what? Long march. So what ended up happening was he put all of his everything. He put everything behind this one big building on the table and moved his tank out to the side, and I played the entire game shooting at his tank. All right, so I ended up getting my closest position, and then I moved my guys into the center, and I was able to hold down the center position for 5 rounds. But what he did at the end was he just moved everybody out from the building and swarmed the middle position, so he got it. I mean, it was completely well played. I mean, there's no loss there. So, like I said, when you're shooting at the tank, right, obviously it's got armor, so it cancels all the blocks. So I had to set up what I tried to do was I set up my fire supports so I could get just the most dice possible with Rex, because Rex surges to crit. I mean, that was basically, it was weird because like you were rolling for crits or rolling for surges more than anything. So that's like I said, there was just a couple, I don't remember any like key moments, but basically that was a strategy that I had to use. I was able to get a really awesome Call Me Captain turn in where I just put tons and tons and tons of shots out. But he also had R2-D2, he had R2-D2 C-3PO, and he also had a clone engineer on his other squads. So I had to end up putting I didn't put it 14 in, but it would have ended up needing 14 to take out the tank, and I didn't quite get it there. But again, that was basically all I shot at the whole time. And I mean, there were a couple sniper exchanges, but basically that was it. So, I mean, his big move, the thing he was doing was with Padme, he had her in protection, and he was doing the standby sharing with her. So he'd activate his tank first, and then he'd do Padme, and he'd basically get to use his tank again because he was standby sharing Padme's, right? So Padme was behind, you couldn't see her. I think she was in line of sight to like the back of the tank because she has to be in line of sight. So he was basically getting 2 activations out of his tank, and just, I mean, it's not like he was rolling well or bad, like he was rolling average. I think we were all kind of rolling average for the most part, but like we were just trading shots back and forth, and my guys were in cover with suppression, and it's just nothing really happened. Like, I mean, we were shooting back and forth, but like no one was really moving for the most part. Like I kind of got my rocket launcher in position. He had to kind of deal with that a little bit, but really and that's why I said that was a fun game because from a tactical standpoint, I think I made a lot of good decisions. I think I grew as a player, so I really enjoyed that. But like it was kind of a bummer game in terms of like actually doing it. But he was a really nice player, and we talked through decisions with each other both ways, and I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed playing him. So that was it. I mean, like I said, I lost that game because he kind of just swarmed the center at the middle, or at the end, stormed the middle at the end. So anyway, that's it for the actual tourney play. I mean, there were a couple big realizations / learnings, and aside from just like the technical stuff. This was my first real time getting real hands-on realization of how important activations are. And that was, I mean, that's not exactly a groundbreaking statement. That's been a conversation in the Star Wars Destiny community forever, right? I get it. But like I said, it was my first time actually getting the hands-on. And quite frankly, so I played I played against CIS in round 1, and I played against CIS in round 2. What was the difference, in my opinion? It was the fact that the second round guy put so much money into his tank and Dooku. He had, I think he had 8 so I was 8 activations, and I think he was 8 activations. And the CIS player in round 1, I think, was 11 activations. And that was the main thing with Vaporators, is with his droids, like his B1s and stuff, he just out-activated me. I mean, duh, right? Obviously, that's what happened. Especially when I couldn't get clear shots off. I wasn't rolling especially well, but I mean, that wouldn't have really mattered in the end. Like, I mean, he outplayed me. He had more activations. But in the second round, I was able to keep on top of things and not take 4 shots when the round ended, right? And I think that was, I mean, more so than the early beam shot, I think that was really the difference. So that was my first experience with that. Again, that's not a groundbreaking statement. I'm well aware that that's a well-known issue, or not issue, but a well-known thing in Legion. And that's, it is what it is. But like I said, it was my first time realizing that the clone player round 3, I think he was 2 activations up on me, actually. I think I was 8 to 10, I think, even though he had the tank, because he was running the clone commander and 2 arc strike teams, and it was a good list. I wasn't a fan of the standby sharing thing, even with Padme, but I know that's her thing. So, because like I said, there was like all his guys just kind of like sat behind a building, and it was that was kind of a bummer. But he played really well, and it was a really good time. So the next thing was Obi-Wan. So the only other difference in the game I won was that Obi-Wan got shut down in round 1. The player shut Obi-Wan down. In round 3, the other player shut Obi-Wan down. Obi-Wan was the main target of the saber tank, and he just pounded Obi-Wan, which did let other guys get into position, but Obi-Wan was not effective. And in round 2, I was able to get Obi in to lock people down. He ended up doing some stuff with Dooku, moving, engaging. That was the difference, I think. I mean, that was not the difference, but that was a really big difference in the games too, was being able to use Obi-Wan effectively. And I don't think I misplayed. I do think I could have done Obi better in the first round, but I don't think I misplayed Obi in the third round. It just couldn't get him across the board before he started taking a beating from the tank. But that was the difference, I think, in round 2 with the win versus not, was being able to actually effectively use, basically 185 point guy in my army. So anyway, that was pretty much it. Like I said, I really enjoyed the experience in terms of getting to play with the other players. It was a super long day. It was also really, really hot, and I kind of started getting woozy about lunchtime. Lunch, I was able to actually eat something, and I think that I left site and came back and ate something and went inside in AC, and that helped. So once I got over that, things were good. But man, it's a long day. Like it's a long day. I'm just not, I like quicker games and stuff like that. I'm just not built for that. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So anyway, thank you to Dan for organizing it. I know you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. He also had to calculate all the stuff manually, put a lot of work into it. Met a lot of good people. Jason, we're totally gonna hook up for games. Really, really enjoyed playing you. It was a really good experience talking back and forth and just having a good time, and it was great. So met a lot of good people. Really looking forward to more. Just want to remind everybody that Monday nights are free play at Gongaii Games. Obviously didn't go this week because I used up my hall pass in spades, being gone literally all day Saturday, figuratively all day Saturday. So anyway, that's the tournament report. If you're still watching at this point, thank you very much. I'd love to get games in with you guys as well. But man, let's think about actually making skirmish a thing, because it goes quicker. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. Go Commando.